I just haven't paid.
Oh, you got it. I don't need to do anything, do I?
Well, no,
read the
you
Torah.
do reading the Torah. You can also do bits here.
Oh, whatever.
You could do Hallel.
Oh, we haven't done
Sorry?
We haven't done Hallel.
Hallel. Tony's doing the after a blessing.
Wonderful. Yantuf, Chag Sameach. It's lovely to have you here in person, and also if you're watching at home as well, because I think probably we've got hordes watching at home. It's wonderful to be with you on this very, very rainy Sukkot morning. In fact, it feels like we've already done the lulav dancing. We brought on the rain.
Very successful.
Very successfully. We're going to have a fantastic crop season to come. So we begin our service this morning on page 437, page 437.
Please stand.
Ma tovu, ohalecha Yaakov, mishkanotecha Yisrael. Ma tovu, ohalecha Yaakov, mishkanotecha Yisrael. V'ani berov chasecha avo beitecha, eshtachavei elecha kodshecha ve'yiratecha. Adonai ahavti me'yon beitecha, u'mekom mishkan kevodecha, mishkan kevodecha. V'ani eshachaveh ve'echra evrecha lifnei Adonai osi. Ma tovu, ohalecha Yaakov, mishkanotecha Yisrael. Ma tovu, ohalecha Yaakov, mishkanotecha Yisrael. V'ani tefilati lecha, Adonai et ratzon, Elohim berov chastecha, Elohim berov chastecha, haneni be'emet yishecha. Ma tovu, mishkanotecha Yisrael. Ma tovu, ohalecha Yaakov, mishkanotecha Yisrael.
Please be seated. Nachon libi Elohim, nachon libi. My heart is ready, O God, my heart is ready. I will sing praises. Awake, O my soul. Awake, O harp and lyre. I will arouse the dawn, I will give thanks to you, O God, among the peoples, and sing your praises among the nations. For your love is high as the heavens. Your faithfulness reaches to the clouds. We continue on page 447 with some words from Kohelet.
Vanity of vanities, says Kohelet. Vanity of vanities. All is vanity. What do we gain by all the toil at which we toil under the sun? A generation goes, a generation comes.
But the
earth
earth
abides forever.
The sun rises and the sun goes down.
Hastens to the place where it rises.
The wind blows to the south and veers round to the north.
Round and round
Round
goes the wind,
circling back to where it begins.
All streams run to the sea, but the sea is not full.
To the place
Where they flow, they continue to flow.
All things are full of weariness.
Weariness beyond description. The eye is never satisfied with seeing.
nor the ear filled with hearing. What has been will be, and what has been done will be done.
And there is nothing new under the sun. And you should all have the sheet with Pizzius turned.
To everything turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, turn, turn. And a time for every purpose under heaven. A time to be born, a time to die, a time to plant, a time to reap, a time to kill, a time to heal, a time to laugh, a time
to weep.
to everything turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, turn, turn. And a time for every purpose under heaven. A time to love, a time to hate, a time of war, a time of peace, a time you may embrace, a time to refrain from
Embracing.
to everything turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, turn, turn. And a time for every purpose under heaven. A time to build up, a time to break down, a time to dance, a time to mourn, a time to cast away stones, a time to gather souls together. To everything turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, turn, turn. And a time for every purpose under heaven. A time to gain, a time to lose, a time to rent, a time to sow, a time to love, a time to hate, a time of peace, I swear it's not too late. To everything turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, turn, turn. And a time for every purpose under heaven.
And we continue together on page 453.
If you pick out the second line from this, you will find the words. You will hear from the Torah portion later on that Sukkot is all about celebrating. Yesterday in the synagogue, we had literally a packed synagogue full of celebration of life. Well over 130 refugees who are clients of the Watford and Three Rivers Refugee Partnership coming to the synagogue, matched by about the same number of our own volunteer members here, packing out this sanctuary. The Azorio Hall, the community centre, Dad's table tennis tables were immensely popular and well used. My gosh, there are some incredible table tennis players we found out. Upstairs, the kids had an incredible time in room 12, just teenagers being together, and it was wonderful. There was nothing really needed to be there for them, just they got on with it and celebrated being together. And today we celebrate coming together to celebrate this Sukkot, and so we do so in joy. Ivdu et Adonai b'simcha.
Ivdu et Adonai b'simcha. Bo'u lefanav b'nana. Ivdu et Adonai b'simcha. Bo'u lefanav b'nana. Ki hamelech gadol Adonai, ki hamelech
Together we rise for the Baruch Hu on page 456. 456. Baruch Hu et Adonai Hamvorach.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach Leolam Vaed.
Praise the one to whom our praise is due.
We praise the Eternal One, to whom our praise is due, forever.
And let us continue together. You may be seated, sorry. Not sure why I'm in such a rush. Let us continue together. We praise you, Eternal One, our God, Sovereign of the universe, Maker of light and Creator of darkness, Author of peace and Creator of all things. In your mercy give light to the earth and all who live on it. And in your goodness you renew creation continually, day by day. How manifold are your works, O God! With wisdom have you made them all. The world is full of your creations. Your handiwork proclaims your praise. The radiant stars bear witness to your glory. We praise you, O God, Creator of light. Ahava rabbah ahavtanu, Adonai Eloheinu. Chemla gedola v'torah chamalta aleinu. Avinu malkeinu, ba'avor avotenu, shabatchu b'cha. ותלמדם חוקי חיים, כן תכוננו ותלמדנו, ותן בליבנו להבין ולהשכיל, לשמוע, ללמוד וללמד, לשמוע ולעשות ולקיים את כל דברי תורתך באהבה. והארננו בתורתך, ודבק ליבנו במצוותיך, ויחד לבבינו לאהבה וליראה את שמך. והארננו בתורתך, ודבק ליבנו במצוותיך, ויחד לבבינו לאהבה וליראה את שמך. קיבלנו ובחרת לבחרך באהבה, ברוך אתה אדוני, הבוחר בעמו ישראל, באהבה. Please rise. שמע ישראל, אדוני אלוהינו, אדוני אחד. 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 ברוך שם כבוד מלכותו, לעולם ועד. ברוך שם כבוד מלכותו, לעולם ועד. שמע ישראל, אדוני אלוהינו, אדוני אחד. שמע ישראל, אדוני אלוהינו, אדוני אחד. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם, בשבתך בביתך, ובלכתך בדרך, ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך. למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות
Ani Adonai Elohechem. Together, good and beautiful and true, sound, established and enduring are these words now and forever. The everlasting God is our sovereign. The rock of Jacob is the shield of our salvation. Eternal God, you redeemed us from Egypt and freed us from the house of bondage. Then with great joy, Moses, Miriam, and all Israel together sang to you this song.
Sang to your name at the shore of the sea. With one accord they gave thanks and proclaimed your sovereignty.
Adonai Yimloch Leolam Va'ed. Tzur Yisrael Kuma Kuma Be'ezrat Yisrael Go aleinu Adonai Tzavot Shemo Kedosh Yisrael Baruch atah Adonai God Yisrael.
Please rise. Adonai Sfatai Tiftach, Ufi Yagid Tehillatcha, Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam.
Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka,
Elohei Rachel
Elohei Leah, Ha'el HaGadol HaGibor VaHanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'konei HaKol, V'zocher Chasdei Avot V'imahot, U'mevii Geula Livnei Bneihem, L'ma'an Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer, Moshia U'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham ve'ezrat Sarah. Atah Gibor le'olam Adonai, Mechayei metim atah Rav ve'hoshia. Mashiv haruach u'morid hageshem, Mazriach hashemesh u'morid hatar.
V'nemana tala hachayot metim.
ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיי המתים.
נעריצך ונקדישך כסוד שיח שרפי קודש, המקדישים שמך בקודש, ככתוב על יד נביאך, וכרזה אל זה ואמר. קדוש, 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 אדוני צבאות, מלוך על הארץ כבודו, מלוך על הארץ כבודו. אדוני אדוננו מאדיר שמך בכל הארץ.
ברוך כבוד אדוני
מקומו, ברוך כבוד אדוני מקומו.
From your concealment, turn to us in mercy. Be gracious to the people who call you one. Continually, twice each day, proclaim with love. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. You are the one God, our loving Creator, our sovereign and our Redeemer. And in mercy you will once again enable us and all who live to hear. Ani Adonai Elohei Echad, Ani Adonai Elohei Echad. And with the psalmist we declare, Yimloch Adonai le'olam, Elohai Tzion, ledor vador, Hallelujah, ledor vador, Hallelujah. Ledor vador, ledor vador, ledor vador, nagir God lecha, ulenetzach netzachim, ulenetzach netzachim, kedushatcha nakdish. Ledor vador, ledor vador, ledor vador, nagid God lecha, ulenetzach netzachim, ulenetzach netzachim, kedushatcha nakdish. ושבחך אלוהינו מפינו לא ימוש לעולם ועד, כי אל מלך גדול, כי אל מלך גדול וקדוש אתה. ledor vador,
have given
Us
us
a special task among the peoples. In your love and favor, you have sanctified us by your commandments, drawn us near to your service, and charged us to make known your great and holy name. In your love, eternal one, our God, you have given us feasts of joy and seasons of gladness, among them this festival of Sukkot, season of our gladness, to unite us in worship and in remembrance of the exodus from Egypt.
O God and God of our ancestors, be mindful of us and all your people of the house of Israel. Grant us well-being and blessing, life and peace on this festival of Sukkot. Zochreinu Adonai Eloheinu bo letova.
Amen.
Ufokdeinu bo livracha.
Amen.
Vehoshienu bo lechayim.
Amen.
Grant, eternal God, that our observance
Of the festivals may bring us blessing, happiness, and joy. Sanctify us by your commandments, and make us loyal to your teaching. Satisfy us with your goodness, gladden us with your salvation, and purify our hearts to serve you in truth. And grant, eternal God, that the happiness of the festivals may be with us always. We praise you, O God. You hallowed Israel and the festivals.
We'd say Adonai Eloheinu ba'amacha Yisrael. Tfilatam b'chava tkaber. Yehi ratzon tamid avodat Yisrael amecha.
Baruch atah Adonai, she'odcha levadcha b'yirah na'avot. Modim anachnu lach, she'atah hu Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu le'olam va'ed. Tzur chayenu magen yishenu, atah hu ledor v'ador. Nodeh lecha u'nisaper tehilatecha, al chayenu ha'mesurim biyadecha, v'al nishmotenu ha'pukdot lach. ועל ניסך שבכל יום עמנו, ועל נפלותיך וטובותיך, שבכל עת ערב ובוקר וצהריים. ברוך אתה אדוני, הטוב שמך, מלכך נאה להודות. אלוהינו ואלוהי אבותינו, ברכנו בברכה המשולשת הכתובה בתורה. יברכך אדוני וישמרך, כן יהי רצון. יאר אדוני פניו אליך ויחונך, כן יהי רצון. יישא אדוני פניו אליך וישם לך שלום. שים שלום, טובה וברכה. שים שלום, טובה וברכה. שים שלום, טובה וברכה. שים שלום, טובה וברכה. חן וחסד, חן וחסד ורחמים. חן וחסד, חן וחסד ורחמים, ורחמים. שים שלום, טובה, טובה וברכה. שים שלום, טובה וברכה. עלינו Sim Shalom, Tova Uvracha. Sim Shalom, Tova Uvracha. Tova Uvracha.
Peace, welfare, and blessing. Grace,
Grace, love, and mercy to us and to all Israel, your people.
As
As a loving parent, bless us with the light of your presence. For by the light of your presence, eternal God, you have revealed to us the law of life, a love of kindness, righteousness, blessing and mercy,
life and peace.
For it is good in your sight that
your people Israel and all peoples
be
be blessed at all times with your gift of peace.
We praise you, O God, the
Source of peace.
To the highlight of our Sukkot morning service, the Hallel and the waving of the Lulav and the Etrog.
I think we're going to need some helpers, don't we?
So Dylan, we're going to need all of your help in a minute to wave
Sam
the
and
Lulav.
Joel, I think we'll need your help as well.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. So if you want to come up, we're going to start singing, but if you want to come up in a few moments' time, we'll get you waving the Lulav.
Maybe we'll do it up here.
We're going to say all of the blessings so that we can continue with the service, and we'll just carry on as we would do, and we'll let Merry Hayhem happen around us. So please do join with me on page 467. A blessing first for waving the lulav. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu al netilat lulav. And for those of you for whom it's not the first time, you can forget this one, but for those of us for whom it is the first time that we're waving the lulav, we can say together, Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, shehechianu v'kiyamanu v'higianu lazman hazeh. And turning over the page, the bracha for reading the Hallel. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu likro et ha'Hallel.
Hallelujah, hallelujah, avdei Adonai, hallelujah, et Shem Adonai, yehi Shem Adonai mevarach, me'ata ve'ad olam, mimizrach shemesh ad mevo'o, mehulal Shem Adonai, ram al kol goyim Adonai, al hashamayim kevodo, mi Adonai Eloheinu, hamagbihi lashavet, Amashpili lirod, bashamayim uvaretz, mikimi me'afardal, me'ashpot yarim evyon, lehoshivi im nadivim, im nadivei hamo. Hallelujah.
And over the page. Not to us, but to your name, eternal one. Let glory be given for your constant love and truth.
Why should the nations ask, where is their God? When our God is on high, and God's will
Their
prevails.
idols are silver and gold. They have mouths but cannot speak, eyes but cannot see.
They have ears but cannot hear, noses but cannot smell.
They have hands but cannot touch, and feet but cannot walk. No sound comes from their throats.
Those who make them and all who trust them become like them.
O Israel, trust in the Eternal One, your help and your shield.
O house of Aaron, trust in the Eternal One, your help and your
All
shield.
God-fearing people, trust in the Eternal One, your help and your shield.
God will remember us and bless us. Bless the house of Aaron. Bless the house of Israel. Bless all God-fearing people, both small and great.
May God increase your numbers, yours and your children's.
May you be blessed by the Eternal One, maker of heaven and
The
earth,
heavens belong to God.
as God has given to
The
humankind.
dead cannot praise God, nor any who descend into silence.
But we will praise God now and forever. Hallelujah.
And over the page.
Hallelujah. 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 Hallelujah.
Reduce, reuse, recycle. Praise God, all you nations. Extol the Eternal One, all you peoples. For great is God's love towards us, and God's faithfulness endures forever.
Hallelujah.
Have a break for a minute, so.
In my distress, I cried out to God.
You answered me and set me free.
God is with me, I am not afraid.
What can mere mortals do to me?
With God as my
I
helper,
can face any foe.
it is better to take refuge in God than to rely on human
It is
beings.
better to take refuge in God than to rely on those in power,
God is my strength and my shield.
and has become my salvation.
Hear glad songs of triumph in the tents of the
The
righteous.
Eternal One does mighty deeds.
God's power is supreme.
The Eternal One does mighty deeds.
I shall not die but live.
To tell of God's deeds.
Open for me the gates of
Let me
righteousness.
enter them and give thanks to God.
This is the gate of the Eternal
The
One.
righteous shall enter it.
Spirit. Elohai Aromameka. And in a moment we're going to turn to the Torah service. 497. And if children want to come outside with me so they have a bit of space, we're going to take a lulav and an etrog with us. We're going to learn a little bit about the lulav and the etrog.
In days to come, the mountain of God's house shall be established as the highest mountain, towering above the hills, and all the nations shall stream to it. Many peoples will go and say, "Come, let us go up to the mountain of the Eternal One, to the house of the God of Jacob, so that we may learn God's ways and walk in God's paths." Please rise. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh Shemo.
Gadlul Adonai Ti and Romama Shemo Yakdav. Let us magnify the Eternal One. Together, let us exalt God's name.
Lecha Adonai Havdalah, V'Hakura V'Hatiferet, V'Hanesach V'Hahod, Ki Hu B'Shamayim, Hu B'Haaretz, Lecha Adonai HaMamlecha, V'Hamid Naseh Lechol Erosh.
Please be seated.
Baruch et Adonai Hamvorach.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam asher bahar benu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten ha'torah.
Amen. Viva, that's superb prompting. If you can find a seat, doesn't matter. And if you have a Chumash, I don't know what page it is, but it's Leviticus 23, verses 33 to 44. Vaydaber Adonai el Moshe le'emor, and the Eternal One said to instructed Moses, saying, Daber el b'nei Yisrael, speak to the children of Israel, le'emor, saying, B'chamisha asa yom lechodesh hashvi'i hazeh, Hag Sukkot, Shivat Ya'amim l'Adonai. On the 15th day of the 7th month, you shall celebrate a festival or feast of booths for 7 days before the Eternal One. Did anybody notice what happened last night? Absolutely. It was quite incredible. Having had a full day of rain and as again today, last night, if you looked out, suddenly the skies cleared. Actually, as I was driving back towards Croxley, you could actually see the line of the skies and suddenly behind it, this amazing full moon. And you could just imagine what things might have been like when you were out in the fields with that full moon lighting the way. I hope it didn't keep them up at night, actually, if they were, because of all the holes in the sukkah roof. Vayom Harishon, on the first day, Mikra Kodesh Kol Melechet Avodah Lo Ta'asu. It shall be a sacred occasion, and so you should do none of your regular work. Shivat yamim takrivu ishay ladonai. You shall bring fire offerings on the 7 days, ladonai, before God. B'yom hashmini mikra kodesh yihyeh lachem. And the 8th day shall also be a sacred occasion for yourselves. V'ikravtem ishay ladonai. And you shall also bring fire offerings before God then. Atsereti, it is a solemn occasion. Kol melechet avodah lo ta'asu, and so you shall do none of your regular work. Ele mo'adei Adonai asher tikra'u otam, mikra'e kodesh. These are the sacred occasions when you shall bring offerings before the Eternal on the sacred times. Lahakrivi sheil Adonai, when you shall bring fire offerings before God. Olah, and smoke and burnt offerings. Umincha, and meal offerings. Zevach, sacrifices. Unsachim, and libations. Devar yom b'yomo, each one at their appropriate times. Milvad Shabtot Adonai, except for the apart from the Sabbaths of the Eternal, Milvad Mitnotechem, and apart from the gift offerings, Milvad Kol Nidrechem, and the votive offerings, Milvad Kol Nidvotechem, and the freewill offerings, Asher Titnu Ladonai, that you bring before the Eternal One. Now, officially, this is where the chapter should end, because we've already had enough information about Sukkot, and it's come after a list of all of the information on all of the other festivals. So it seems like we have an extra source which has been tagged on at the end. Maybe it is a hint that at one point in time, well, it was just a time when you took the breaks and you bought offerings. But here, at some other occasion, maybe it's a more ancient source or a more modern source, we have a different kind of celebrating this festival. Ach b'chamisha asa yom lechodesh hashvi'i. But mark on the 15th day of the 7th month, b'os bechem et vuat haaretz, when you have gathered in the yield of the earth, tochugu et chag Adonai shivat yamim. You shall celebrate greatly a festival of the Eternal for 7 days. B'yom harishon Shabbaton, the first day shall be a Sabbath. Uvayom hashmini Shabbaton, and the 8th day shall be a sacred Sabbath. Ulkachtem lachem b'yom harishon, and on the first day you shall take pre-eitz hadar, from the fruit of the hadar tree. Kapot tamarim, you shall take palm branches. Va'anaf eitz avot, and you shall take boughs of leafy trees. Va'arvei nachal, and also branches from the willow of the brook. Usamachtem lifnei Adonai, and you shall celebrate joyously before the Eternal One, Elohechem, your God, shivat yamim, for 7 days. V'hagotem oto chag ladonai, shivat yamim, b'shana chukat olam ledorotechem. And you shall celebrate in front of, like this, for 7 days every year. It is a statute which you shall observe for every year throughout your generations. The Chodesh Hashvi'i Tahogu Oto. On the 7th, in the 7th month, so you shall celebrate it. Basukat Teshvu Shivat Yamim, and you shall dwell in booths for 7 days. Kol ha'ezrach b'Yisrael yeshvu basukot. Every citizen of the people of Israel shall dwell in booths. Lema'an yedu dorotechem ki basukot hoshavti et b'nei Yisrael v'hotzi'i otam me'eretz Mitzrayim. Ani Adonai Elohechem. And you shall dwell in those booths for 7 days throughout your generations, so you can tell your children and the next generations exactly what the way that God made the people dwell in booths when God brought them out from the land of Egypt. I am the Eternal One, your God. Why do you think they need a reminder? Why do you think why am I reminding you today about this? Why do you think? Just like, well, I know that you four are immensely knowledgeable anyway about Yiddishkeit. In fact, your Hebrew is probably better than many of ours here today. But it's good to be reminded the reason why we do things. Because sometimes you can just get hooked up on the waving of a lulav, or just making or going into a sukkah, and you forget why. And so the Torah says, you shall tell everybody, you shall build these, and you shall sleep so that you remember in every generation exactly what the ancient Israelites did dwell in booths. Probably in a harvest, because they needed to get the crops in quickly, so they used to probably sleep out in the fields. But for us, it reminds us as well about how fragile our housing is, and how fragile it is, and how fortunate we are to have safe and secure houses to live in. And we have around our synagogue at this moment somebody who's homeless who regularly sleeps out around the synagogue. And we know that, and we let the police know, and we let the homeless charities know so that they're aware. And there are sometimes people who choose to be there, but our building literally has provided a little bit of shelter. I was actually wondering if the weather had been clement, whether we might have had somebody sleeping in our sukkah this year. But no, the weather's bad, so any shelter that could be found, it was in the porch today. But it does remind us very much so, and brings it home to us, exactly why we collect a sukkah table, and why at this time of year, yesterday, we had so many people who have had to know fleeing from their homes, refugees, in our building, because it brings back to us exactly our good fortune and the reasons why we celebrate happily our good fortune on this Sukkot. Vayedaber Moshe et moadei Adonai el bnei Yisrael. And so Moses instructed the children of Israel about all of the sacred seasons of God. Listen after. Or you can get the kids to do it as well if you want to. You can all come and do it if you want to.
Where are we? Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu Baruch atah Adonai natan haTorah.
Amen. Please rise. And just before we elevate the scroll, don't run away, Lily. Just before we lift the scroll up, we also give thanks on this occasion, on the occasion of Lily's special birthday. We don't need to say how many years. It's okay. But we thank God for 20. Well done. Well done.
89.
We thank God for the years that you have celebrated. I feel so fortunate that we met each other up north, and while I was running around the country and serving our community in Manchester, and how we had your chuppah in the Azorel Hall next door, and how we have had the baby blessings of all of your children within this sanctuary as well. It is such a special thing to celebrate life with your wonderful family.
Thank you.
And so we hope that we will celebrate many more happy occasions with you as a family into the future as well.
Thank you.
As we have been very much a part of the Ashkenazi Bakes household, let us all say the Shechechianu together in celebration of us all coming to this moment. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, Shechechianu v'kiyamanu v'higyanu lazman hazeh. Mazel tov.
Thank you. Thank you.
Choir. And Morris, do you want to lift the scroll? There we go. Bend your knees. Just turn around. Go sit down. And please be seated. There you go. After that.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bocha b'nviim tovim, v'ratza b'divreihem hanemorim ba'emet. Baruch atah Adonai habocheh b'Torah, v'Moshe avdo, v'Yisrael amo, v'b'nviei ha'emet v'tzedik.
The Haftarah is from the book of Joel. Yet even now, says the Eternal One, turn back to me with all your hearts, and with fasting, weeping, and lamenting. Rend your hearts rather than garments, and turn back to the Eternal One your God. for he is gracious and compassionate, slow to anger, abounding in kindness, and renouncing punishment. Who knows but he may turn and relent, and leave a blessing behind for meal offering and drink offering to the Eternal One your God. Blow a horn in Zion, solemnize a fast, proclaim an assembly. Gather the people, bid the congregation purify themselves. Bring together the old, gather the babes, and the sucklings at the breast. Let the bridegroom come out of his chamber, the bride from her canopied couch. Between the portico and the altar, let the priests, the Eternal One's ministers, weep and say, O spare your people, Eternal One. Let not your possession become a mockery, to be taunted by nations. Let not people say, where is their God? Then the Eternal One was roused on behalf of his land, and compassion upon his people. In response to his people, the Eternal One declared, I will grant you the new grain, the new wine, and the new oil, and you shall have them in abundance. Nevermore will I let you be a mockery among the nations. I will drive the northerner far from you, and I will thrust it into a parched and desolate land, its van to the eastern sea, and its rear to the western sea. And the stench of it shall go up, and the foul smell rise. For the Eternal One shall work great deeds. Fear not, O soil, rejoice and be glad, for the Eternal One has wrought great deeds. Fear not, O beasts of the field, for the pastures in the wilderness are clothed with grass. The trees have borne their fruit, fig tree and vine have yielded their strength. O children of Zion, be glad, rejoice in the Eternal One your God, for he has given you the early rain in his kindness. Now he makes the rain fall as formerly, the early rain and the late. And threshing floors shall be piled with grain, and vats shall overflow with new wine and oil. I will repay you for the years consumed by swarms and hoppers, by grubs and locusts, the great army I let loose against you. And you shall eat your fill and praise the name of the Eternal One your God, who dealt so wondrously with you. My people shall be shamed no more, and you shall know that I am in the midst of Israel, that I, the Eternal One, am your God. There is no other, and my people shall be shamed no more. After that I will pour out my spirit on all flesh. Your sons and daughters shall prophesy, your old men shall dream dreams, and your young men shall see visions. I will even pour out my spirit upon male and female slaves in those days.
Al hatorav, al havodah, al handiyim, al yom, chag hasukot hazer, shnatato lana Adonai Eloheinu, l'sason u'lesimcha, l'kavod u'leteferet, al hakol Adonai Eloheinu, anachnu modim lach, u'mavorchim optach, yitbarach shimcha b'pi konchai, tamid le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai, v'kadesh Yisrael, v'hazmanim.
Amen. Please rise. We're going to go for a walk first. I always wonder, knowing that many of the prophets had their prophecies out in the midbar, in the desert, when maybe they had lack of water and food. This is an occasion when suddenly they're prophesying and everybody is seeing visions and things like this, having perhaps eaten too much and drunk too much, I think, at the end of Joel's prophecy, but celebrating the goodness that comes to them. And let us say our blessings together at the foot of page 500. Eternal God, whose dominion embraces the universe, we ask your blessing for our sovereign lady, Queen Elizabeth, and all the royal family. You can come here and help me if you want. In our country, and all who influence the quality of its national life. Do you want to come as well? And teach them to exercise it in accordance with your will. May we all help to fashion in this country a society that excels in freedom and justice, tolerance and compassion, so that it may be a force for righteousness and peace in the life of humanity. Eternal God, as you blessed our ancestors in generations past, bless now this congregation, its leaders and its members, and all who enter this synagogue to meet, to study, and to pray. Comfort the sorrowing hearts among us, and heal those in anxiety or pain. May we all find here community and friendship, renewal of purpose and hope, a deeper understanding of our heritage, and a sense of your abiding presence. Bless all congregations of the House of Israel throughout the world. Let those who live under oppressive rule soon be freed, and may we all unite to witness to your truth and do your will. Eternal God, our rock and redeemer, grant blessing to the state of Israel, created to fulfill an age-old dream and to be a haven for the oppressed. Inspire its leaders and citizens with faithfulness to the aims of its founders, to develop the land for the benefit of all its inhabitants, and to implement the prophetic ideals of liberty and justice. May they live in harmony with one another and in peace with their neighbours, and cause to come true once more the ancient vision, that out of Zion shall go forth Torah, and the word of God from Jerusalem. Let us praise the Eternal One, whose name alone is exalted. And please turn over your pages. Okay, good. You're going to come around with me. You're going to follow me. Happy are those who find wisdom, who gain understanding, for its fruits are better than silver, its yield than fine gold. It is more precious than rubies, and no treasure can compare with it.
Hashivenu, Hashivenu, Hashivenu Adonai Elecha v'nashuva, Chadesh yameinu kekedem.
I think we'll have you back again. You did a very, very good job. Please be seated.
members of the choir who not only sang all through Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, but were here on Mass last night, and it was incredible. Very, so on Mass you were, yes. And you were singing on Mass as well. But I said last night that I never repeat the sermon, but I challenge you to see how many sentences you're going to get now, probably from my memory, were the same as you got last night. Anyway, we're in potential shtuch. The whole existence of British Jewry rests on a knife edge. Because if it turns out that there is a no-deal Brexit, perhaps the greatest problem we will face are the importing of etrogim from Israel and Sicily. Countless are the stories from Eastern Europe, and we had one of them last night, of the despair when the expected etrog seller, with his sack of fruit carried all the way from the warmer climes, didn't turn up into the already frozen Poland. Some of you may remember our member, Walter Wegg, once grew etrog shoots from a pip from the leftover short etrogs, and maybe we need to become self-sufficient and increase our horticultural skills so that we don't have to risk the problem of having a Sukkot without an etrog. Regulars here, the long-standing members, know that once I thought myself to be the world expert on Sukkot, and especially on the Arba Minim, as I'd done my rabbinic thesis on the subject 50 years ago. But like many things in life, I find I'm being left behind. A recent article by one Rachel Schneiderman, who I don't know, traces the etrog back to China. In fact, a southwestern province called Yunnan, anyone been there? Where she said it is used in traditional Chinese medicine. From there, the etrog plant traveled to the northeastern India and then right across the subcontinent to become a key component in traditional Ayurvedic medicines. Treating evidently, and never thought about it for an etrog, a range of problems from stomach complaints to hemorrhoids to infertility. And one of the Buddhist gods, Yambala, was often depicted holding an etrog as a sign of fertility because of its density of seeds. Maybe, actually, being serious, it suddenly struck me that's why its botanical name, and I did know this in Latin, is Citrus medica. And I learned another fact, that there was a medieval Jewish custom that for pregnant women to bite off the tip of the etrog at the end of the festival. So, anyone here that applies to this bear etrog going? Schneiderman also teaches us that when Darius I of Persia conquered India in 518 BCE, the fruit spread to Persia and was regarded as a prized exotic species, and from there taken to the land of Israel once it became under Persian domination. And that evidently in Persia there were orchards known by Persian words which became paradisia, a paradise made up of etrog plants. And that amongst other things, archaeologists have now found a settlement just outside Jerusalem on a kibbutz in which they've done carbon dating on the walls. And in them, it's very clear that there was a paradise also there of rows of etrog plants there. You see, you never know what you're going to learn if you look at the internet. So the prized fruit has traveled across the world long before itinerant sellers bought it from the Mediterranean countries to the cold Stettlach of Eastern Europe. As I say, you're never too old to learn. And of course, as Aaron's already said in his sermon, that's the problem. Never preach after your son or something like that. A festival of Sukkot itself has been on a journey, changing focus along the way. Starting as an unstructured harvest festival celebrated in the autumn full moon. And then I'd written down here, even in England, called the harvest moon. But I read the paper this morning, a gorgeous picture of the last night's moon, and it's called the hunter's moon, saying that last full moon was the harvest moon. Well, maybe that makes a certain sense in England when the harvest was in, if you've traveled the country last month and not this month, but I always thought it was the harvest moon, so you get corrected all the time. The harvest moon anyway, whether it's the hunters or the harvest moon, a joyous celebration made especially happy in Israel because the last harvest of the year with the grapes and the newly fermented wine was the key feature of the festival. And so, as Aaron said, Sukkot, a simple harvest festival that develops and develops. But once the Jews were in exile in Babylon, then it had to have another meaning, and then there was the exodus from Egypt and so on, and that bit tacked on the end, as Aaron said. But of course, in recent times, as again you've known because you've heard all the sermons before, the festival has attracted a range of contemporary meanings. On each one of them, a sermon could be given, and a sermon has been given many times. One of the earliest, maybe the original interpretation, is the need for hospitality, of welcoming the poor and the stranger. Indeed, if you remember, and you're in Shul on Yom Kippur, the very Torah portion we read then includes that we must include the stranger in our celebration. And the Torah portion that we read then commands the ancient father to leave the corners of the field and not strip the vines bare, but leave the gleanings for the poor. And this we do, as Aaron said, every year by asking members to bring offerings of food to be distributed later. And then, as Aaron said, the flimsy sukkah was ordained to remind us of our good fortune in living in permanent, secure houses. And I remember this one becoming the theme of Sukkot perhaps 50 years ago. But now we see the tragedy of homelessness on our streets and in our communities to be highlighted by this holiday. And Sharon and I have just led services in Leicester, and the community there is heavily involved in providing now a night shelter to the homeless. Well, yesterday you had, was it 130 refugees here? Maybe the next one is a homeless shelter here, but that's a lot of hard work. And Leicester's High Holy Day appeal included a charity that seeks to provide clean toilets and clean water in the third world. And I know this is also on Northwood's agenda, and it too could claim a place in the Sukkotic observance as the symbol of the Lulav and Etrog and the rituals of the temple of old, as my half-century-old thesis proved, was essentially connected to water. And therefore you could see all of these themes could be taken out of this one festival. And yet another meaning this year comes to the fore, brought to us by climate extinction. Sukkot has always, from its very beginning, been a festival celebrating the bounty of nature and the beauty of God's natural world, the blessing of crops producing food. But I needn't tell you how a festival giving thanks for the annual harvest is now, with greater urgency, highlighting the fact that if we don't act now, harvests will get more and more unproductive and unreliable in the future. And the temporary nature of and fragile nature of the sukkah is surely a very fitting symbol of our need to take action, to get involved, to act in whatever ways we might think reasonable to combat global disaster. And so we see that I can't think of any other festival in which you could put so many different meanings on the symbols that we have and the observance we have. And therefore, which meaning should you focus on? They're all important. But let me end with another focus that was there from the very beginning and was stressed in the Torah portion. Usamachtem lifnei Adonai Elohechem. And you shall rejoice before the Eternal One your God. Usamachtem. And this is one of the essential commands of the festival. So many problems to solve and to confront in the world. I can imagine, however, that the ancient farmers also had a tough life and had to confront many problems. And therefore, that is why there is the occasional need just to escape, just to rejoice. Maybe drink the wine, maybe have fun to keep you sane. Sukkot comes 5 days after the most serious Yom Kippur. Maybe it says that if we are to remain sane and focused, as well as serious thought as the very meaning of our existence, we also have to find times to be happy, to rejoice in the good things we do know and experience. And thinking about it, maybe the happy, contented person is more likely to do good towards others and the world than a person who is depressed and frantic. And so I say, Usamachtem, rejoice in our good fortune and escape into the beauty of the Sukkah, and know that despite the problems, life really is good.
Amen. Shkoch.
We turn to our concluding prayers on page 520. Please rise for the Aleinu. Aleinu
Shabeach ladon hakol, latet gedula leyotzer bereshit, asher samchalkenu leyached et shemo, vegor aleinu lehamlich malchuto. V'anachnu korim, umishtachavim umodim, lifnei melech malchei hamlachim, hakadosh baruch hu. Shehu notei shamayim ve'yoser haaretz, u'moshav yikaro b'shamayim mimahal, u'shchinatu zo, ve'govhei meromim, hu Eloheinu einod, emet malkeinu efesulato, kakatu b'torato, Ve'yadata hayom ve'hashevota el levavecha, ki Adonai hu ha'Elohim b'shamayim yimahal, ve'al haaretz mitachat einod.
Trusting in you, eternal God, we hope soon to behold the glory of your might,
and false gods will vanish from our hearts, and idolatry cease forever. Help us to perfect the world by bringing it under your unchallenged rule.
when all will invoke your name, relinquish evil, and turn to you alone.
May all who dwell on earth come to know that to you every knee must bend and every tongue swear loyalty. Before you let them humble themselves, and to your glorious name let them give honor. Let all submit to your sovereign rule. May that time come soon and last forever. For ultimate sovereignty is yours, and to all eternity you will reign in glory. As it is written, the Eternal One shall reign forever.
And it has been said, the eternal God shall rule over all the earth. On that day the eternal God shall be one, and known to be one. Partly dependent on unhistoric acts, and that things are not so ill with you and me as they might have been, is half owing to the number who lived faithfully a hidden life and rest in unvisited tombs. Even when they are gone, the departed are with us. They inspire us to live as in their higher moments they themselves sought to live. We remember them now. They remain in our hearts. They are a continual blessing.
יתקדש שמי רבה, ועמד יברח חירותי וימליך מלכותי, בחייכון וביום אחון ובחיי דכל בית ישראל, בעגלה ובזמן קריב ואמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מבורך לעולם ולעלמי עלמיה, יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא, ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקדושה בריחו. לעילה מן כל ברכתה בשירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, תמירן בעלמה ואמרו אמן. יהי שלמה רבה מן שמיה, וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרמה, הוא יעשה שלום, עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ועל כל בני אדם, ואמרו אמן.
May great peace descend from heaven, and abundant life be granted to us and all Israel. Let us say,
Amen.
you may be seated for just one moment. I think we're going to try and brave the sukkah. So because we are hardened. I'm not sure that's the correct description of us, but we're going to give it a go. So we're going to sing our concluding song and go out into our sukkah. Do take a look at the beautiful sukkah table that we have really here at the back, because it's really incredible to see how generous everyone has already been. Unfortunately, we can't show you if you're watching online how much has already been donated, but everyone has already been very generous. But if you haven't yet had a chance to bring things in, the sukkah table will be up all the way through Sukkot, and we're very happy to receive more donations, both for the food bank and for New Hope, which is a trust that helps the homeless. Our members were also incredibly generous with their donations for our refugee tea, and there are actually, I think, 2 or 3 quiches that are left over. They're just vegetarian quiches, so if you do fancy taking one home, then do just let me know. It'll be a shame if it would go to waste, and it is perishable, so we can't give it away, yeah?
Can it be frozen because we've got Simchat Torah and a big Kiddush next weekend? So
I will check if it can be frozen, but absolutely. There might also be some pizza still from yesterday, but they are already in the freezer. We were really inundated with so many wonderful donations, which is wonderful. So we're going to conclude and make our way out into the sukkah. It's all right.
We missed the whole purpose of the season. You didn't go outside for a moment.
And we're going to end with joy. Iftu et Adonai b'simcha. Worship the Eternal One with joy.
Iftu et Adonai b'simcha, simcha, simcha, simcha. Bo, 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 lefanav b'nana. Iftu et Adonai b'simcha, simcha, simcha, simcha. Bo, 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 lefanav b'nana. Et Adonai b'simcha, simcha, simcha, simcha. Bo, lefanav b'nana. Iftu et Adonai b'simcha. Bo, lefanav b'nana.